I'm not going to sit here and waste your time. We're going to get straight into it. This is exactly how I'm building an aesthetic physique for someone. This is not something that I do hypothetically. This is something I'm implementing now and I'm doing currently. I'm already going through this process. Okay, this is literally my guide, my step-by-step thing, everything I'm doing at the moment. And you're probably thinking, does it work? Okay, I'll quickly show this before we start. This is me 2 months ago. You know, I'm not in terrible shape. You know, I've been going to the gym for a while, but look, skinny, fat, no real definition, no real chest. You know, I thought I looked good as well. You can see here when we get the light. You know, like not crazy, like I look alright. You know, I've been going to the gym a little bit. Okay, and this is me a couple weeks ago, most recent one. Alright. You can already see a difference. We're starting to look a little bit defined. We're starting to look a little bit more shredded, okay? We can start seeing striations in the damn shoulders. You know, you could literally pull me into a science class and we could go through the muscle fibers in my damn shoulders. That's how nice we're looking, okay? And we're getting shredded. Okay, we're getting lean, we're getting veiny. We're looking good. Because summer's just around the corner, you know, we just stepped into April. Time's ticking. We've got 2 months left. And I want to look good, I want to look lean, I want to look clean, okay? Before we get into it, a couple things. We don't rise to the standards we have when people are watching. We fall to the standards we have when no one is watching. The only work that really matters is the work no one sees. It shows who you really are rather than who you say you are. The best time to start was yesterday, and the second best time to start is now. Momentum and change is not built through the thought of doing something, but is built through taking action. I hope that resonates with a couple of years. Essentially, it means take action now in the moment rather than thinking about it. We spend way too much time thinking about doing something rather than actually doing it. Okay? But listen, this is how it's going to work. I'm going to show you my blueprint, right? We're going to go through training first. So the frequency, the intensity, the progressive overload. We're then going to go uncover diet, and I'll make my head smaller. My head is massive, but I'll make it smaller. Okay? We're then going to go over diet, calories, protein, and I'll show you exactly what I'm eating for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, plus my snacks. And then we'll move on to the final bit, which is consistency. You know, arguably the most important part. Not even arguably. It is probably the most important part. Okay, we're going to go through routine, habits, discipline, and also sustainability, because that is something I never see anyone speak about at all when it comes to training and your diet. Right, let me sip my tea before it gets cold. Love a brewskin, by the way. And we'll get straight into it, okay? Section 1, training. So this is first of all going over frequency. So this is essentially how many times are you training per week and how many times you're training that muscle group per week. Okay, you can see I'm doing a 4-day split at the moment. Just because that works well on my schedule. I'm hitting chest and triceps on the Monday, legs on the Tuesday, a little rest on the Wednesday, but it's still an active rest. You know, I'm going out for a walk, I'm doing my cardio, I'm doing some stretching. Thursday, we're hitting back and buys, and then we're finishing off on the Friday at shoulders. Now, you don't have to hit gym every day. You just need to make sure you're doing it enough. You don't want to hit 1 or 2 gym sessions a week and think you're going to make all these exponential growth and progress, okay? Now, before we're on frequency, you know, questions I get quite a lot is, how do you actually know if you're training the muscle correctly? Okay, and I'll give you an example here, the glutes, right? So when you're doing the exercise, are you feeling the glutes contract? Do you feel a big pump afterwards or during the exercise? And the next day, do you feel like your glutes are a little bit sore? Okay, it doesn't have to be all 3 of these, but it needs to be one of them at least to know if you're actually hitting the muscle correctly and you're actually going to make progress, okay? And after that, okay, you're feeling a bit sore, you know, you got a little bit of a pump. How do you know when the muscle is ready to be trained again? Okay, because building aesthetic physique, we want to train hard to induce insult into the muscle. So we want to break down that muscle. We want to fatigue it. We want to cause insult. We then want to sleep and eat good food, so recover properly, get our protein in, etc. But we'll touch on that in a second. And then we want to hit the muscle again. And 48 to 72 hours is a good window. As long as you're not feeling too fatigued, hit it again. Hit it again. Okay? This will be different if you're training for muscle strength rather than hypertrophy. But we want to look good rather than build strength. We can always cover that in a different video. Okay, so frequency, how many times you're training, how many times you're actually hitting a muscle group. Okay, and that moves us nicely on to intensity. Okay, this is your perceived effort. How hard are you finding the workout? If you're coming away from a workout feeling like you could do it again, you could have done more, you're not really benefiting yourself here, are you? Okay, you want to come away thinking, holy fuck, my arms are in bits. You know, when I come out today, I've just done back and biceps. I'm in the shower, I'm cleaning my body, I'm thinking, holy shit, I can't even get my arm above my head because I'm feeling fucked. That's what you should feel like. You shouldn't feel like, easy day. You know, if we're ranging this out of 10, your score should be 7+ every time. You should be working hard, okay? But during the sets, okay, how many reps should we be hitting? Okay, I'm looking at anywhere between 5 and 30, okay, but it has to be muscular failure. Okay, you need to achieve muscular failure, okay, but it doesn't need to be extreme. It doesn't need to be where you're doing bench press and someone's literally lifting the bar off your chest because you're that fatigued, okay? That's you don't need that, okay? But it does need to be close. You need to be like 1 or 2 reps off that, okay? So as long as your reps are getting close to muscular failure, it doesn't really matter what rep range you're in. Okay, and as you can see here with my training schedule, this is my chest and triceps, you can see that I'm doing 28 kg, I'm doing 28 kg, you know, I've hit 10 reps, so then I've hit 8, then I've hit 5. You can see that fatigue in me, and that means I need to drop the weight, because my sets, my range at the moment are 6 to 10. If I fall below that 6, I've got to drop the weight, okay? And as you can see, I dropped to 5, so I need to drop the weight, and then I only just got 6, and I just made it. Because I'm working hard, I'm fatiguing the muscle, I'm going to failure, I'm pushing through. Okay, that leads us on nicely to the next thing. All right, progressive overload. Right, are you actually increasing the weight or the reps, or decreasing the rest time? Okay, as long as you're changing one of these 3 things, you can't really go wrong. Okay, and that's true progressive overload. So, for example, bringing it back to that chest and triceps routine. You can see here that my weight was 28, 28, 28, 26. However, the next week, 28, 28, 28. So I did one more set at a higher weight. Why? Because I hit that threshold. I hit that 5 reps, which means I can do it again. However, I was fucked. My chest was in bits, okay? And it's the same here for the incline bench press. I did 40 kg for every single one, and I almost hit full reps on every single one, 12. Okay, so the next week after, I increased the weight. I did a little bit more. I progressively overloaded. I worked that muscle a little bit harder, and I got the same again, 12, 12, 12, and 10. So now next week when I go back and do it on the Monday, boom, I'm going to go 45 kg. I'm going to overload that muscle. You need to be challenging yourself each time in the gym, okay? Swiftly moving on to diet. Now, diet's a big part of this, right? Training's one side of it, diet's the other. Alright? Now, in order to build an aesthetic physique, we want to lose body fat. How does one actually lose body fat? Okay? Eating less calories equals losing weight. You need to be in a calorie deficit, and you know that. You know you can't be eating more than you're burning. Alright? And as you can see, I'm using MyFitnessPal at the moment. You can see my goal, 2,300, but you're thinking, whoa! You fat fuck, why are you on 2,500? Okay, because I've got that bit of exercise, which means I can have a little bit more, okay, when needed. Because a big mistake I see, okay, guys will go on an aggressive cut, so they'll stick to 2,000 calories, but they'll stick to 2,000 calories no matter what exercise. You're going to burn out, you're going to feel fatigued, you're going to feel tired, and your body's actually going to work against you in the long run because it needs energy, so it's going to start saving body fat. Okay, that's what people don't understand. They think, oh, if I just eat nothing and fucking run, I'm going to become a skeleton and I'm going to lose my body fat. No, your body's going to work against you. It doesn't want to lose energy. It wants to store energy, right? 1 second. God damn it, I love a green tea. Little green and lemon tea. Also good, by the way, if you're trying to stop eating. It's actually a little bit, it stops that hunger a little bit. Well, it does for me anyway. Okay, so anyway, as long as you're in a calorie deficit, you can't really go wrong, alright? Now, you're probably wondering, how did I work out 2,300 for me, right? So you need to look at your total daily energy expenditure. Now, for me, I'm at 75-ish kg at the moment. You're put your height, you put your weight in, you put how active you are, and it's going to churn out how much you actually need per day if you were to maintain that weight. Okay, so mine was around 2,700, 2,600. So I took that 2,600 value, I took away 300, because that's what, it's not an aggressive cut, it's quite a mild cut, and that came up obviously 2,300. So I thought, if I can keep that 2,300, I'm going to lose weight. And even then, although I've eaten 2,500, my maintenance is higher than that. So I'm not actually I'm not actually under by 81 calories. I'm actually under by 281 calories. Okay? We need to be in a calorie deficit to lose weight. But you don't want to take it too extreme. Okay? And as you can see, I've been doing it for a little while. Got a little 23-day streak on MyFitnessPal. Okay? But that leads us nicely on to protein. Okay, we want to decrease how much we're eating, but we don't want to decrease that protein intake. Okay, so although we want to reduce our calories, it's really important that we keep that protein intake high each day. Okay, this is going to keep that protein synthesis going and also stimulate the muscle growth rather than prevent the muscle loss, rather than actually encouraging your body to break down that muscle and use it for energy. Okay. It's weird because you need to think, excuse me by the way, you need to think about your muscles, like when you do a workout, they're hungry, they want to eat, okay, so they want that protein, so you need to keep that protein synthesis high throughout the day, feed your body, feed your muscles with protein, so it can keep rebuilding, okay. And you've heard this before, 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight is, it's not a bad stepping stone, to be honest, it's quite good, but as you can see here, mine is around 165 pounds, or grams, sorry, but I'm eating slightly over at the moment, and that's fine, it's just an estimate. I would recommend going over, and I'm doing it, just because you can keep that protein synthesis going a little bit longer, and it's more chance of you growing a little bit more muscle, there's no disadvantage. As long as you're not excessively eating protein all day, you can't really go wrong. If you want to work it out and you're in kg, literally just go kg, convert that into pounds, and then that will be simply straight into your grams of protein. Alright? And that leads us on to my scran at the moment. So what am I actually eating? Okay. So for my breakfast, I'm having 3 boiled eggs, 1 teaspoon of raw honey. Now, I'm not having a teaspoon of raw honey because it's giving me some superpower in the gym, me, all this bollocks. I'm actually currently having it because, I'm starting to suffer a little bit of hay fever. And last year, when I started taking raw honey, local raw honey, I felt like it helped me out quite a bit. I felt like, I didn't really have like runny eyes or runny nose anymore. So that's why I'm having it in the morning. I want to come a little bit more immune to nature in a way. Okay, this is what I have, by the way, pre-workout. This is my pre-workout scran. So alongside that, we're having a black coffee. And I never used to have a coffee at all. Never used to have it. Used to think, nah, bro, I'm not relying on coffee and caffeine in the morning. I don't need that. I use my own willpower. But I was speaking to this woman in the sauna, and funny enough, she's done a PhD in caffeine, and she was telling me all the benefits and all this and that, and I was like, damn, man, I'll give it a try. So I've been doing it for about 2 months. I feel good. I feel great. And I also have a little fresh orange on the side of that as well. I've been having one of these puppies for, we're talking 8+ years now. This breakfast here, I feel good, I feel energized, and I'm ready to go. Okay, I was having about 6 eggs in the morning, fried eggs, but I've cut it down because obviously, we're trying to lose that body fat, so boiled is a little bit more cleaner, it's a little bit easier, and obviously not having to cook in butter and all that, etc. Alright. Supplements. Okay, this is also what I take in the morning. So I'll take a scoop of creatine, which is like 5 grams, and I'll also take a tablespoon of omega-3 creatine. Just a no-brainer, most studied supplement out there, just good for your muscles, retain that water, keeps them healthier, full, more longer. Okay, and also you've got your omega-3, just good for your cognitive function, your joints. It's something that's quite hard to get that your body can't really produce unless you're eating a lot of fish. So it's a no-brainer. The only other thing I'd say you probably need to have is vitamin D. Now I was having vitamin D from this company in Britain. I was having 10,000 IUs every day. I was just overdosing. It's way too much. It's way too much to have. So I cut that out, and I'm still in the process of looking for a better one. But look at the goddamn sun behind me, boy. You know, it's summertime, so I'm not really my focus at the moment. Yeah, in winter, when the sun's... there's fuck all of it. Yeah, maybe. But at the moment, it's more so, you know, I'm just focusing on actually doing gym. I'm going to have a blood test soon anyway. So I'll make a video on that to see what my actual vitamin D levels is anyway. Because I spend a lot of time in the sun, so it's not really too much concern. But I would recommend creatine, and I definitely would recommend omega-3. Okay. Moving on to lunch, right? I'm having 200 grams of minced steak, 250 grams of sweet potato, half a can of baked beans, which is around 212 grams, and half a can of kidney beans, which again is also around 120 grams. I'm having 100 grams of carrots, sometimes 150, and I'm having 1 kiwi, which is equal to 80 grams. And this is my post-gym scran. So I've literally just finished gym now, like as we speak. I'm going to record this, and I'm going to make this exact same meal. Okay, super high in protein, 77.5 grams of protein, fiber. Okay, you're going to feel full for longer. Sweet potato, the beans. Beans are so underrated, man. Taste so good, high in protein, high in fiber. They're just a really good source of food that I don't see a lot of people eating. You know, I feel like people shit on beans a little bit, but I love them. Okay, it's important as well with these meals. You know, I actually enjoy eating them. I see guys when they're on the cart and they're eating like, oh God, they're eating like chicken, like bland chicken. Like, I'm just thinking, Jesus Christ, yeah, like, how do people live like that? You know, I've done a cut where I was doing 2,000 calories a day, and I was a struggle. Okay, well, this is a little bit more freedom. Okay, I can chop and change. But yeah, I really enjoy this. I couldn't recommend it enough. Makes me feel good, makes me feel full, and also I'm getting a serious amount of protein as well. All right, and for dinner, now this one chops and changes a little bit. Only the protein though. So for dinner is either salmon, wild caught tuna, or have chicken, and that is with 250 grams of sweet potato, 200 grams of broccoli, 100 or 150 grams of cooked beetroot. It's 100 or 150 because like they come as balls, and I'm not cutting it up, man. Like, it's an extra like 40 calories per like 100 grams, so who cares? And I'll have a bit of kefir yogurt. I'll have a pink lady and 20 almonds normally as well. Okay. Salmon and tuna is when I can cook it at home like this, but I train a lot with football, and I do coaching in the evening. So sometimes I got a meal prep. So if I was a meal prep, I'd do this exact same meal, but the meat would be chicken as opposed to salmon or tuna. Okay. And again, really enjoy this meal. Feel good after, feel full, and it's super high in protein at the same time. All right. Snacks. And I am thinking about changing this one. Okay, so I'll have a banana, and it'll depend on the day whether I'm training a lot or not, as in football wise, because sometimes you need a bit of carb, and I don't want to feel empty and weak before training, especially on a game. Okay, so I'll have literally 2 rice cakes, and I'll put some bananas on top of them. These are the rice cakes I'm having. Kalo, and they're organic, they're right. I think I'm going to stop snacking on these ones. I'm going to get something else, probably something more protein like eggs. Okay, yeah, bananas as well. And then after gym, like just now, I've had a protein shake with a scoop of creatine in as well. Now, I don't normally have protein shakes, but per 100 grams, protein shakes are the highest amount of protein you can have. It's literally a no-brainer not to have them. Like, it's generally a no-brainer. You're literally just stuffing like 50 grams of protein in your body for like 200 calories, if that. Excuse me, before it gets cold, man. So the protein shake's not the most nutrient dense whole food. I would highly recommend it. Okay, and there's probably one thing you notice about this on that. All these meals, there's no process in here apart from the protein powder and maybe the rice cakes. Yeah, fair enough. It's all whole food. It's all real. It's all nutrient dense. There's nothing been taken away. You know, when you go and buy sweet potato, it is whole. The ingredients didn't say sweet potato, corn syrup, ballsack. It says nothing because sweet potato is the ingredient. All right, and that's the key. That's the key to having good health at the same time, because that's what I'm interested in. I'm interested in improving my health, but also improving my physique at the same time. Okay, and you can do both. It is possible, as I'm proving it right now. Okay, and this brings us on lastly to consistency, arguably the most important one. In fact, it actually is the most important one. Oh, actually, before we move on, while we're on the topic of green tea, the only thing I drink is water, green tea, and coffee, nothing else. So I'm not coping with fucking 0-calorie Sprite, 0-calorie Coke, 0-calorie fucking Monster. That is some cope, alright? No, none of the bullshit, I don't do any of that. It's water, tea, or coffee, natural ingredients. If you're drinking fucking Monster for a pre-workout, like, just grow the fuck up, like, honestly. I'm sick of seeing it, alright? Anyway, consistency, arguably the most important one. In fact, it is the most important one. Alright, routine. Okay, now this is where a lot of people mess up, and this is where I have messed up in the past as well. Okay, building a routine you can follow is important to stay consistent. Okay, you should literally turn up to the gym knowing exactly what you're going to do, having a plan. Like here, have a plan, you turn up. Excuse me, hold on. Have a plan, you turn up, and you execute. You don't walk into the gym and go, fucking hell, what exercise am I going to do today? Shit, I got to do chest, but like, what should I do? No. Stop fucking wasting time, okay? Even then, stop thinking. All you need to do is stop thinking, like I said at the start. Let's go back to the start. What did I say? Actually, no, it's not. What did I say? Stop thinking. Momentum and change is built through taking action, not the thought of it. Okay? You should be turning up and taking action. I used to do it as well. I used to go in and go, fuck, what should I do today? That machine's taken. And I fucking sit there and procrastinate and waste time, okay? It's the same with your routine, okay? It's the same with what you're actually doing with chest. I turn up on chest. I've got it all planned out. I know exactly what I'm fucking doing. I turn up and I execute and I leave. And I get the job done, okay? And it's exactly the same with the weight. Why do you think I'm tracking everything? Okay, how are you going to progressively overload? How are you going to get better each week? How are you going to insult that muscle more if you don't even know how much weight you did last week? And I used to do it. I used to turn up and go, shit, I'm doing bench press. How much did I do last week? Did I do 40 kg or did I do 45 kg? I don't even know. No, write the fucker down, turn up, look at the scores from last week, progressively overload, keep improving. Simple as that. It's all here. Turn up and execute. Alright? Stop wasting time thinking. This is why the routine, the plan is so important. Okay? You should not be thinking, you should be doing. Alright, and while we're here, I'll show you my chest and tricep routine. So you can have a look, and I'll sip my tea while we wait. That's that one. Here's my legs. Now, legs are going to be a little bit different for me than maybe for you guys, because it's more of a football-focused legs at the moment, because we're still in season. When we go to the off-season, it'll be a little bit different. This is my back and biceps, which I did today. And by the way, pull-ups and Australian pull-ups are the most goated exercise for back. Actually, no, bent over as well. I mean, all of them. I mean, the pump I get from the back, the feel I get in my back is crazy. Like, I'm building a back bigger than your mum's back. It's going to be fucking insane. Okay, and lastly, we've got shoulders, which I'm going to be hitting tomorrow. Have a little look while I sip this. Before it gets cold. Okay. So listen, your routine, you should be literally turning up and executing. There should be no thought process. It should be a seamless routine. It should be seamless, okay? Turn up, execute, get out of there. Track progress, leave, alright? And that moves us on nicely to our habits, alright? Habits and discipline. Because true discipline is built through unbreakable habits and unbreakable standards. What do I mean by habits, okay? So these are the daily activities you're doing and the frequency of them. If you go for a run at 5 in the morning, but then don't do it for another month, that's not a habit. That's a fucking aberration. You've just turned up and done it randomly. A habit is something you do day in, day out, every single day, no matter how you feel. No matter how you feel, okay? These are things you do relentlessly. Relentlessly, okay? Standards are the rules you set for your life, okay? The rules you set for yourself and that you follow in life, okay? You've got to set a bar for yourself. You can't drop below that bar, okay? That bar, the more you do it, becomes the norm. It's like when people, do stuff and get that dopamine really high and then it drops below baseline. Okay, you want to have a baseline where you never drop below. You hold yourself accountable, you hold yourself to those standards, and you keep with it. These two combined will build unbreakable discipline. Okay, as you can see here. And this is how I'm tracking. This is how I'm turning my life into a video game. This is how I'm making everything a fucking process, a seamless process where I just execute. Execution is probably the biggest thing holding you back at the moment, okay? I've got my morning routine, boom, check it off. Have I tracked my weight, boom, checked it off. Have I done my hand grip, boom, checked it off. Okay, these are the things I'm doing throughout the day. I'm checking them all off as we go. Okay, I've got my morning routine down here. Wake up 6 a.m, drink my lemon water, go for a walk, do my push-ups, read, journal. Okay, I've got my food, track 2,300 calories. Okay, and I've got a little routine here. Boom. I'm building streaks. I'm turning my life into a video game. It's right here in front of you. It's easy. Okay, and this is how you can do it. Because you always get this guru saying, build discipline, me. How do you do that? This is how you do it, and this is how you can hold yourself accountable. Start turning your life. Stop fucking leveling up on Call of Duty and trying to get diamond camo. Start leveling up on fucking real life, alright? Your habits and standards will define who you are. Okay? And ultimately, they'll determine the outcome you have. Alright? Build these good habits and these good standards in your life, and you'll be able to keep going and build that discipline that ultimately becomes that consistency. Okay? And this leads us on very nicely to our last one, which is sustainability. Now, this is the single most important thing, alright? The key to longevity and the key to making it work and for you to have your dream body and have everything you want is sustainability, okay? There's no point coming up with a crazy fucking routine that you're going to be in the gym for 5 hours, okay, that you can't sustain, you can't do again the next day. There's no point coming up with this crazy diet where you're eating 1,500 calories that you can only last a week because you're so fatigued and you feel drained, okay? Sustainability is key. It is the key to change. You need to be able to do something again and again and again and a week after week after week, okay? It needs to be sustainable. It needs to work with you. And as you can see at the moment, it's pretty sustainable for me. Okay, at the moment I'm maintaining a little bit. Yes, I'm cutting that body fat, but I'm maintaining. And it's weird because sometimes weight's going to fluctuate. Like here, I'm gone down. I might be because, you know, I didn't have a lot of water in my body. I didn't need a shit that day, whereas here I might have had a lot of water retained in my body, okay? Weight's going to fluctuate as long as you're eventually moving down, okay? The higher highs, the higher lows, right? And only people who have had a little look at trading will know what that means, right? But for me, this is my current plan, okay? So I'm going to sustain my current workout plan and my diet, okay, till the football season ends, which is 2,300 calories unless I'm doing exercise, 4 gym workouts a week, and I'm also training football 3 times a week, okay? As soon as the season ends, this is where we fucking go bananas. And you guys can start doing this right now, okay? I'm going to drop my calories to 2,000 or 2,100. I'm going to keep my gym workouts, but I'm also going to do cardio at the same time on those days, okay? And that's where we're going to see significant change. I've already seen big change, as you've seen at the start. I've already seen that big... I've looked like I've reduced my body fat and I've also built muscle at the same time. We've seen that, okay? But we can get better, alright? And then from there, we're going to get lean as fuck and build an aesthetic physique, alright? Listen, I hope this video helps you. This is exactly what I'm going to do till the end of the season, till June. And this is exactly what I'm doing, and I'm going to continue to do, okay? Listen, if you need help with your diet, with your training, with getting in the best shape of your life, give me a DM on Instagram, and I'll help you out, and we'll go from there. Alright? But listen, it doesn't matter what you do, as long as you can do it consistently, and you see the results over time, you can't really go wrong. Alright?